Hello everyone and welcome to the 140th episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. My name is Benedict. You may know me better as BHL Hudson. Here we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. With me as always is my friend, co-host, and not only just early morning pod recording buddy, but also across the Atlantic pod recording buddy.
Ooh.
Frederick, we're back, baby.
It's got a ring. It's got a ring to it.
Does it?
Across the Atlantic recording buddy.
I feel like I stumbled over that in a not smooth way at all. But
I feel like I totally messed up everything there. But it's okay.
We are here to do a little pod. I have arrived in America. It is currently 5:49 a.m. because I am of the jet-lagged variety. And I've also eaten no food, which means as these
I am but a husk of a man.
As these two pods continue that we're going to do today, I apologize if I get progressively hangrier and hangrier. I have been told that my hanger is a notable
factor that can cripple any relationship.
Is the reason every romantic partner of mine has left me. So just be warned of that if that leads into the podcast. But anyway,
I have been told that whenever I don't eat, it leads to my personality growing continuously unbearable, meaning no person loves me.
Also, I threw together this kind of shambles of a mic situation very quickly. I am using a sock as a pop filter because I couldn't find my pop filter in my bag. So if the mic sounds a little weird, I'm sorry about that. I'm also recording in a bigger room. Anyway, before we get into today's pod, which will be mini reviews, news, and then I guess the topic of Jurassic World. You made a promise to a dinosaur. Have you seen it?
I'm seeing it this evening, so no.
Should we save our discussion then?
Ooh. We can if you want. We can.
Okay.
I mean, we can record another.
Would you maybe like tomorrow be able to just record like a little 20-minute segment that we could throw in?
I believe I would be able to.
Ooh, look at us, podcasters. Okay, great.
God, we are podcasters.
Because sometimes it is a little bit, I don't want to say unprofessional, but when we have like different times that we see movies and then we basically just review them twice. So, okay, how about we do that? But before we jump in, I would like to, and this is not funny, it was more funny in the sense of my stupidity, not the actual situation, obviously is not funny, but I'd like to issue a formal apology to actor Val Kilmer.
I see.
Now, I didn't really, thankfully, Lele told me about this before, because I'm making like a little review of Top Gun Maverick, and thankfully Lele informed me before I made this point in my review, but I think I've mentioned it in the pod, and so, again, the situation is not funny, my idiocy is funny. Basically, I said I wasn't crazy about some of the stuff they did with Iceman's character in Top Gun Maverick. I thought it was kind of a strange choice, what they did with his character. I was like, okay, like, all right.
Huge cancellation in progress.
I thought it was a weird choice. And I didn't realize that the actual actor, Val Kilmer, suffers from throat cancer. And so I would like to apologize for implying that, because I didn't know, and I'm sorry, and that was very stupid of me. And I'm very grateful to Lele, who mentioned that just offhand before
you went on a 5-minute rampage in your review.
So I'm sorry for my implications on the pod. I'm an idiot. Thank you, Lele, for informing me of something that I could have very easily just found out with 1 second's worth of research. So
I did find this out on Lad Bible, so you know.
Oh, goodness. See, okay. Moral of the story, follow Lad Bible? That cannot be the moral of the story.
I think that is the moral of the story.
Anyway, should we just jump into mini reviews and news?
I think we should.
Also, this was recorded on Monday, June 13th.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go first, sir?
I'll go first. Well, I'll go first with one that we both can talk about a little bit.
Okay.
The Boys Season 3 has started.
Ooh, it has?
And so far, I have to say, just as good as when it left off. I am loving it. I think it's a great, just a great progression of the previous season. I don't have like a ton of crazy stuff to say except for one moment, which I think we should talk about.
Yeah, we do have one moment that we need to address.
No, I think it's I don't know how much of it you've seen yet, but
I've seen 3 episodes and a bit.
Okay, I think I've that's the same for me. Yeah, I think it expands on the characters well and builds on the previous season. I think Homelander is, like, again, just one of the best, like, TV performances I've ever seen, and, like, how his character is so now, like, just completely unhinged is, like, terrifying and very fascinating to watch. It's very funny. Frenchie is there being, charismatic.
That's how you get the sponge. Except this time he says, your mother's vagina.
And also I like the expansion of the world with, like, the Soldier Boy stuff, and Huey's great. Everyone's great. It has, just the thing is, every storyline is interesting. There's not, like, a moment where I'm like, this is kind of mid. I'm looking forward to each episode each week. Like, Obi-Wan, no offense. Again, I just made a video about why we're so critical, whatever. This is not being mean. I just stopped watching it because I didn't find it all
because it's kind of mid.
Because it's sort of trash. No, because I just wasn't, like, crazy about it. And this, like, I'm genuinely looking forward to it each week. So
I will say it's also fun to I mean, Butcher, I love a bit of as I called him a few episodes ago, Billy Buster. I do like a bit of William Butcher.
Yes.
But it's also fun to see just how big of an asshole he is. Like, really, like, he's such a dick. I like, obviously I've noticed it because everyone calls him a dick all the time, but, like, in this season especially, I'm like, god damn, what a fucking asshole.
Yeah, you kind of, because he's so, like, charismatic and fun, you sort of forget that. And especially at the start of the season, he's being a bit of a father figure, being kind of nice. And then, I mean, no, I guess we shouldn't spoil, but he kind of goes away from that a little bit.
He does slightly stray off that path.
But yeah, no, he is a huge asshole. But I also he's just, the show has, like, the most perfect casting of, like, a superhero show I think I've ever seen. Because, like, also just the way he delivers those one-liners where he kind of, like, does that little lean to the camera and he's like, take a bump or whatever, he says, like, that was a terrible butcher. Also in season 2 and he's like, daddy's home or whatever, the way he just kind of, like, leans in and says, like, a fun line. He's so
when Butcher leaned in and said daddy's home and whispered that in my ear, that was funny. I liked it.
Anyway, I am loving The Boys season 3, except for one moment in episode 1, which, spoiler alert, grossness warning real quick, skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. Or if you're eating, I thought was a little bit unnecessary. Sometimes I feel like the
slightly
show
uncalled for
goes a little in. It's trying to be shocking and gross out and sort of thing, and, like, superheroes in this shocking scenario. Yeah. I get that, and sometimes it's just like I didn't need that. I'm talking about the Ant-Man parody bit, I guess you could call it.
The termite, I believe he was called.
Termite, where to put it in pod-friendly terms, which I don't even know what that means because this pod is fucking ridiculous, but it basically features Ant-Man.
He does, so we just cut to the shit. He does crawl up a man's urethra.
Oh my god. It was, I was like, okay, he's probably going to go in his butt because that's sort of a,
Yeah.
Like, you've seen that premise before in comedy.
But then when I saw the
close-up...
the close-up that lay before me. At first, I was like, oh, that's the butt. I was like, wait a minute, it's not a butt.
Not a fan. I do think also it's amusing to think about, like, dozens of VFX artists having to spend hundreds of hours, presumably, rendering the tip of a man's massive penis. And by massive penis, I mean in the context of the scene. Anyway.
I mean, if it was real life-size, it was very quite small, like, compared to me at least.
I mean,
if they wanted to do that scene with me without any VFX, and Termite was just a normal-sized dude, it would work.
I also don't want to think about me being in that scene though, because it was truly disgusting. Because then also, I mean, you know what happens. Anyway, we don't have to talk about it. Anyway, yeah, Boys, good stuff. Go on.
The Boys is some good stuff. Anyways, I believe you remember from our previous pod, which was what, like the previous pre-recorded pod? Not pre-recorded. Like up-to-date pod. Was that like 10 days ago we recorded it?
Yeah.
Something like that. Well, in that time, actually less than that time, in about 5 or 6 days, I binge-watched the entire Stranger Things, including the new season.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
What's
have you seen the new season at all? Or
no, I don't think I even saw the last season. I kind of dipped. What's the verdict? Wait, is the whole new season isn't out yet? Is it like they're doing?
Yeah, so it's like they're doing 2 parts. I will say probably so far my favorite season is the first season because it's the most original.
Yeah.
I think for me it goes. It's difficult to say. It goes first season definitely, then 2, then 3, and then I was gonna say 4 last because most of this new season I thought kind of mid. Like there's so many like different storylines, which is normal for the thing, but like 2 of the storylines just did not make any sense or just not very compelling. There was one storyline with a few of the characters which was quite good, but then in the last episode, god damn, was it one of the best episodes I've ever seen. Like it completely saved the season for me because it was full of twists. Like a huge reveal was made, and the action was great, and it was just god. But yeah, so let's talk about it. We will say obviously I won't spoil it for you, but first season, great. Everyone's seen it, I think. Second season also pretty good with the like demo dogs, like slightly smaller versions of themselves. Third season, like there's some fun new characters introduced. Same with this new season, but not the most compelling storyline, I wouldn't say. And then this new one, I thought genuinely quite bad, and very strange because it didn't like connect with any of the other seasons because the previous seasons have kind of connected in some way, where it's like they thought they finished the thing, like they thought they solved the problem, but then there's a sliver of the problem still remaining. It becomes another problem. Whereas this one, it just seems completely like out of left field that it's a completely new villain, but then they all tied back together in the end. It's just it's such a juicy ending, and you know about the whole running up that hill, how it like hit charts, right?
What?
So basically, there's like a Kate Bush song called like "Running Up That Road, Running Up That Hill." Do you know that song?
Sure, no, but
basically, it's like a famous '80s song, and then that was played in one of the scenes, and after that, it hit like it got its first like Billboard top charts after the season, and in the scene where that song plays, very very good as well.
Okay. Right.
So I mean, I recommend watching it. I think I was definitely like in the mood for it because I was binging the other seasons. So like, but I would definitely say this season, in the majority, is the worst of the 4.
Okay, so it's sort of, which I guess not that you have to give it a pass, but I guess sometimes happens with shows is that the first season is like, because it's the first one and it's sort of like original and it's crazy and it introduces all these characters you like. It's hard to kind of keep building on that, especially if it doesn't really like. It's more, I'm not saying they did this, but it's more making more seasons because it was successful rather than they had like an amazing idea for it.
I think it was mainly because you didn't really know what was going on, whereas like this last episode did kind of like tie at least a lot of the storylines together. So it saved it for me a little bit. And by no means is it a bad season, but I think it is like parallel to the third season. I think it's probably the less good of them all. Okay.
All right. Fair enough. I think that's why I kind of dropped off, is just because it was still good, but it was just like didn't like grip me as much. But fair enough. Okay, damn. Look at you binge watching current pop culture things.
Okay, what can I say? I'm a podcaster.
Well, speaking of current pop culture things, the second episode will be out by now, but I did watch the first episode of the new Ms. Marvel Disney Plus show.
Ooh.
And I have to say, I went in with quite not low expectations, but pretty mid expectations, I guess you could say.
Okay.
I was like, it'll probably be kind of fun, but probably another Disney Plus Marvel thing. And I have to say, I don't know if it's my favorite, but the first episode was much better than I was expecting.
Okay.
It was actually very fun, and it's basically this like teenage girl, or like I think she's 15, which would be teenage. I don't know why I said that like those were two different things. So is this
teenage girl, actually, sorry, she's a teenager is what I meant to say.
And she's like just a very normal like kid who is a really big superhero fan and especially loves Captain Marvel. And then she finds a magic relic, and then she actually becomes a superhero. And it's a very like it's a super predictable story, I guess. Like it's one that's not like super original or like you've seen it before kind of idea, but it's
a little Shazam kind of thing, or what?
Yeah, kind of, but it's I actually kind of welcome that now in the MCU, because some of these shows, like with Loki and all this shit, where it's like, and here's another dimension and a timeline and a TVA and here's a million hours of lore that you need to know or whatever the fuck. It was like, here's just like a kind of back to basics, like a normal sort of story. You know what I mean?
I get you.
And it's also really like creative visually, because it's sort of told from her, like from this creative teen's perspective, where she, they're basically just like a lot of visual thing. I don't know if you ever saw the Mitchells versus the Machines.
I do want to watch it, but I've not seen it yet.
Okay. It was a bit like that, where like kind of like text pops up and like sort of artwork pops up, and it's kind of like what she's thinking of. It's just, visually very creative. And I don't know, yeah, like it's kind of, it has a couple of goofy lines that are like, you're Kamala Khan, you can do whatever you want, sort of that sort of thing. But also, in another sense, it is clearly aimed for sort of
younger audience.
A younger audience. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it's sort of, it's not really made for, the people who are kind of saying like, this is so cringy and silly and whatever. It's like, well, it's also clearly like a Marvel thing targeted more towards teenage girls. So like I can concede that like it's not made like for me, and I still enjoyed it. And there's also like, because she's from like a Muslim family, and so there's sort of that aspect to the story, which is interesting and kind of a new addition to the MCU that we haven't really seen before culturally. And of course now there's like a online hate mob or something who like review bomb it or whatever because of that, I guess, or something to do with that. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I, again, stay away from that stuff because it's just fucking like sad and dumb, but
true.
Anyway, I really enjoyed it. So yeah,
would you say it is about as peaceful as The Punisher then?
Yeah, it's aimed for about the same demo, I would say, as The Punisher. It's a similar vibe. Yeah, no, that's kind of a good point, though, where it's like, if it, and it's sort of murky territory because I don't want to, like, generalize, but, like, generally speaking, if, like, a 14-year-old girl watched The Punisher and said, like, this sucks, you could, like, say, like, well, target demo probably isn't 14-year-old girl, And then if, like, a 22-year-old man watches Ms. Marvel and goes like, this sucks, I can't relate to this at all. It's like, well, it's not really made for you. No, I'm not saying that shows or movies should get a pass. Like, you don't have to, be the title character. Like Edge of 17, one of my favorite movies. Obviously, I'm not a 16-year-old girl. But I don't know. I think there's something to be said for that, where it's like, it's also, you can concede that it's, and like kids' movies as well. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Anyway, moving on.
But so, Ms. Marvel, you like?
I like so far, yeah. Good stuff.
All right. Well, you talked about it last week or last mini review, but I went to the cinema and watched Top Gun Maverick.
Spoilers. A little bit of the goose stash.
The goose stash, goddamn. And I have to say, holy shit, I was blown out the water. That was so good.
Right. So surprisingly good.
I walked in, as you said, like with expectations, it's gonna be a fun action movie, but holy shit, it delivered so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yeah, as you said, definitely my favorite movie of the year so far, and like, like everything just worked. Like
it's the Goose's best line of dialogue. You killed my dad.
What Goose said just before he did. Also, I believe he goes by Rooster, sir.
Sorry, I forgot Miles
like,
Teller's
Goose
name.
is dead. Let him rest.
Miles Teller's call sign is, and I quote, cock.
Cock, do you copy? But yes, like it exceeded all my expectations. Like the freaking camaraderie in the group. I thought it was gonna be like there's gonna be some douchey people, but like still douchey enough to believe it. Like what's he called? Hangman.
Hangman, yeah.
Like I was like, he's a douche, but he's also like talented. He yeah, like obviously Perils the Iceman was like, yeah, cool. Like dick, but also a bit of a cool dude. Kind of like heroic, but also like dicky and sad thing that Cruise did with like pulling Roosters, aka Cox papers. It's like it's believable, And then like I kind of walked in, it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a few plane fight scenes and that'll be it. But then they freaking go all out with the action. It was so good. Yeah,
they're like some of the best, probably the best action scenes I've seen, like in a movie all year.
Like so good. And also, I will say I did slightly fist bump at the end where like you think they're gonna die, and then freaking Hangman comes in and it's like, well, I am good, Rooster. I'm very good. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, it's just
So
like
good.
a weirdly feel good but exciting vibe. You know what I mean? It's just like you're just like you just feel good. You're just like, yes, like
It's just like
the
Jay. I
boys
walked out of the cinema
and girls.
I was like, God damn. What a euphoric high.
It was great. It's such a surprise too. Yeah. A Top Gun Maverick.
I will say I was slightly confused because I didn't remember if the Tom Cruise's love interest was the same one from the. Like I knew it wasn't the same actress.
No, I think Jennifer Connelly. That's who it was. I think. I think she was a totally new character.
Yeah,
believe.
she was.
Which is sort of a little sad for the first movie that like he didn't end up with whatever her name was, but also Jennifer Connelly. So,
but also, you go Cruise.
A great vibe, exciting, fun, feel good, good times.
Exactly.
Also, I'm sorry if you can hear a little like thing in the background. I think the AC or something is going wild. I don't know. Sorry about that. Real quick, I did watch The Godfather. It was good, as you would probably expect. It was a good movie. Pachin out here, pachining it up.
Never have I heard anything more accurate.
I mean, it was great. You know, it's like a great movie. There's not much to say about it in that regard. I will say, it did make me question some of our characters we could beat up episodes because the film does feature multiple extremely brutal garroting sequences. And
I see.
I don't think I had thought about how like intense of death that is when we joke about it, because I'm thinking about it like from like I remember I saw a video of like when I was very young, like of Smosh.
I remember I saw this one leaked video of a real garroting.
No, of them playing like a Hitman Agent 47 game, and they were kind of like joking about garroting, and sort of just it's also because like the nature of those episodes is like the more over the top and like brutal. It's sort of like that's kind of the joke, but then just like in the movie it's so horrible and like violently terrible, and I was like, oh my god, like we talked about like the good dinosaur or whatever the
I was gonna say, I believe we said we would I believe the exact quote was there's a lot of neck to garrot.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. I was like, why is our go-to garroting? So I kind of would like to apologize for that,
like
but also
extreme stealth for like you say it we can just go up and garrot someone so easily.
Yeah, but anyway, the movie was very good. Great performances and good Pachin.
Who does Pachin play? Because
he's
Marlon Brando's the Godfather, right?
Yeah, well, spoilers, I guess, if I have to say that for The Godfather, but I mean, I didn't know this about it because it's sort of, you just see the like, it happens with a lot of these classic movies, you see like the iconic imagery and the sort of like the famous, lines and stuff like that, but Marlon Brando's Godfather isn't really in it all that much. Not that he isn't in it, but he's not really like Godfathering it up for a lot. Like he's basically doing that for like a couple scenes, and then he like is hospitalized and dying for most of the movie.
What?
And like getting older, which is like, again, not a criticism of it, like it's a very, it fits perfectly.
What are you doing, Marlon?
No, it's a very compelling story, and it's about like how Pacino, rises from a certain way he is at the start to a certain way he is at the end, and that's all part of it. But it's just interesting because I was like, I didn't realize that because I'd never seen it before. But Pacino is.
I thought Brando would be like the kind of like figurehead of the entire thing.
I mean, he is a big part of it, but it is more about Pacino's journey and sort of like the families and whatnot. But Pacino is Don Corleone's son, one of them. So yeah, no, good stuff though.
Okay, I'll say, the last 2 days, my girlfriend and I, we've been watching like Divergent / Insurgent movies.
I did see your Letterboxd. I believe you wrote #diarrhea dialogue. Which
yes.
Again, you should take my job, honestly, because I can't come up with that kind of shit. Never mind, I'm brilliant.
God damn. And yet you proved yourself wrong just now. No, honestly, I do not like those movies at all. I don't know why we're watching them. It's just because like we needed an easy watch on Netflix, but holy shit, is it bad. I sit there and like babies in it, right?
Yes. I was like, baby? An actual baby?
Alec Baldwin's Boss Baby?
Yeah. Like, you reference it as just like we all know, like, oh, you know, the baby, the one, the baby. Anyway, sorry.
Wait, it features the baby. I believe the baby's like cancelled or in jail now, isn't he? Anyways, we'll move on.
Anyway, that's for our DeBaby episode coming up.
A full DeBaby pod episode. Anyway, I cannot think of anything less compelling.
Just imagine the thumbnail, just 3 DeBabies like next to each other.
God, the movies are so bad. Like, Baby is probably the biggest wet blanket I've ever seen in a movie.
We are talking about Ansel.
So awful.
For those who don't know.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Elgort. The main character, she's not. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but she's not all that special, and like she doesn't like, especially like in the second movie. Do you mind if I spoil the Divergent series for you?
No. Also, real quick, just are you sure your window's closed? Because I can hear like seagulls and shit. Or is that just like unavoidable?
It is closed. It's
okay.
It's I guess unavoidable. There's like a few seagulls outside.
That's okay. Sorry.
Adds to the sea town ambience that we're going for here. Just
adds a vibe.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So basically, like, especially in the second one, the main character, like she hasn't done all that much. Like she's what they call divergent, right? Because she doesn't fit in the factions, all that. Oh, very special. But she's killed one person who was trying to kill her, right? And then everything else, people like kind of like died protecting her, died fighting the fight that she's been fighting, but not like directly because of her, you know? And then the whole second movie is just like a full pity arc of her being like, oh my god, everyone who gets close to me dies, and everyone should just stay away from me. I'm gonna leave now because that's what's best for people. Like, I'm like, oh my god, you're not that special. God, because honestly, it's so bad. And then there's the whole romance with the main guy character, I guess. It's like not very gripping either, and he's a bit of a weird guy, like very whiny as well. He's like, yeah, my name's 4 because I've got 4 fears. It's like, oh my god,
because I've got 4 testicles.
don't love those movies at all. I guess I'll have to watch the final one, but like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's sort of that dying, or now dead genre of like teen Hunger
like
Games stuff.
I like the genre. Like I like the Hunger Games, but like this one is just so bad.
Yeah. Real quick, yesterday I just gotta nerd out real quick. Just indulge me for a second. UFC 275.
I did see you post on your story.
Insane event. And I won't get into just tons of crazy knockouts, but the main event, I do have to just real quick. Glover Teixeira versus Yuri Prohaska. And it was just like...
Is Prohaska the guy with the crazy, like, hair ponytail
Yes,
thing?
I think you would love Prohaska. He's the... I say this with all due respect. He is a very weird man, but he's so genuine about it. Up front, he lives by the samurai code, like that...
Bushido?
The Bushido... Yeah, like he's always like reading the book of, 5 like elements or whatever that like control your mind and soul, and like but he's completely genuine. Like he's like, some people will kind of say that and then they're like, but not really. But like he like lives in the fucking like forest and he's like just punching trees all day and he's just like going like flowing and he's just has this crazy fight style and very likable guy. And then Glover is also like a great story because he's like 42 years old and he like won the belt late in his career. And so it was this like crazy clash of styles because also Yuri is an amazing striker and Glover's an amazing grappler, but they also both are good at the other thing. And so it was just fucking carnage for 5 rounds, crazy fight. And then you think Glover's like kind of starting to win it. They're both almost knocked out like multiple times. It's insane. And then the last 30 seconds, Yuri, who's supposed to be like the striker, submits Glover, who's supposed to be the grappler, with a rear naked choke. And it was like the crazy, because everyone was saying like either Glover's going to submit him or Yuri's going to knock him out. And then Yuri submits him and it was insane. So it was just, fucking
Were you
wild.
rooting for Yuri or were you rooting for Glover?
I was kind of rooting for Yuri just because like, I like Glover a lot, but just because I kind of want to see him, like Yuri kind of like take on the, because Glover's going to retire in like a year. So like I kind of wanted to see Yuri like take on the mantle and like see where he's going to go next. And it was just...
So is he now heavyweight champion or...
Light heavyweight champion. Ooh. So, yeah.
Pardon my French, sir.
Yeah, how fucking dare you. So, yeah, no, just crazy stuff. And the whole card was great, so, yeah. Anyway, just had to nerd out there for a sec.
I had to quickly get it off my chest. In preparation, this last one, in preparation for what I'm watching tonight, I did watch the original Jurassic Park. It's such a classic. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I see, I said that before, and I think I stand by this, that I like the raptor design more. And also, I guess the T-Rex, T-Rex design hasn't changed much, but like the raptor design in the first one, I think is better than the newer ones where they're a bit more like hidden, which makes them scarier. But now, like, obviously, different storyline and all that. But like, the raptors are just so terrifying in the first one, and I love it. The rest of the CGI, with the Gallimimus and stuff like that, not great, but like still works. And then I have to say, God, the kids, truly annoying. Didn't remember them being that annoying.
You just hate kids in movies. I've discovered this. You just hate kids in movies.
Yeah. But they're always so annoying.
But kids are annoying. Kids are inherently annoying.
But there's some kids that aren't. Like in True Grit, Haley Steinfeld. Is that her name? Haley Steinfeld? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, I have a feeling you're gonna not enjoy this new one then, because the kid does get a pretty substantial role. I mean, okay, yeah. Sometimes character writing for the we're talking about characters, not acting, because also I feel like you shouldn't really criticize child acting that seriously. No. But yeah, I mean, sometimes they're written poorly. Like they're just written to convenience the plot. I also think in the new one the character isn't written very well. But also in the first Jurassic Park, I give it more of a pass because yeah, they are just kind of like kids thrown into this situation. Whereas in the new one, they try to make it this whole clone storyline and sort of much more.
Well, they said the clone thing last time. I was like, oh my god, they're going to talk a lot about that, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, a classic film.
So those are the not so mini reviews.
Oh my god, that's literally the 40 minutes of mini reviews. In fairness, there's nothing crazy news-wise. We do have one story that I'm very excited about, but we can just kind of jump around here. First of all, Am Groot was announced for August.
I see. I thought you were just announcing it.
I Am Groot, just so you know. It's like a Baby Groot miniseries. I think it'll have 5 episodes, and it's just I think it'll just be a little Disney Plus thing. I don't think it's even really counts as one of the main Marvel Disney Plus shows. It'll just be a fun little thing. Are you excited to see Baby Groot doing kind of things, I guess?
I mean, I will say I think Baby Groot probably the most overrated hype train ever.
Yeah, he's
so I don't even know if I will watch it.
No, I mean, of course there are cute Baby Groot moments, but I do think they sort of maybe played it up a little bit too much. In the post credits of Guardians 1, it was so funny and cute because it was also sort of surprising, and there's the little twig dancing. And then the second one they do kind of yeah, he's cute and fun, but he's not
he's cute, but
the greatest thing. He's not as our friends we saw it with were making him up to be when they got told to shut up because they were going oh, he's so cute for the whole movie.
Very true. Very true.
But anyway, yeah.
Still a great moment.
Good, I guess. You see the teaser for Strange World?
Strange World? What is...
It is the new Disney animated film, the next one in the kind of Frozen, Big Hero 6 kind of era.
I've not seen this, no.
It looks... I mean, it's just a teaser, so it doesn't show too much, but it looks pretty good, I guess. It's sort of a... It's like a 19... Do you remember at the start of Up, there's that thing in the cinema where it's kind of a 1950s style, Charles Muntz explores South America, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It sort of has that vibe, except it's
That was weirdly very accurate.
Thank you. But it's in a complete, total crazy fantasy world. It's just completely... it's not... South America. It's fucking the inside of the earth or some shit. There's nothing really to say from the teaser. These movies are generally pretty good, these Disney ones, except you hated Encanto. So, yeah, it will also star Jake Gyllenhaal.
Encanto is... Ooh, I do like the Jake.
So, good vibes, I guess. It's just a headline on Empire that I just thought was funny, and I guess we shouldn't read any more context. Tim Burton on Batman... Sorry, just so weirdly aggressive. Tim Burton on Batman Forever's nipple suit. Go fuck yourself. So I just enjoy that quote.
I see.
It's fair, I guess.
So is he telling the suit to go fuck itself, or is he telling all the haters?
I don't know. I assume he's telling the suit, or the idea of the suit. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, no, he is telling us, the complainers. Here's the quote. They went the other way. That's the funny thing about it. But then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, no, he is complaining about the suit. You complain about me, I'm too weird, I'm too dark, and then you put nipples in the costume? Go fuck yourself. So, yeah, all right. Tim Burton, good quote,
So Tim Burton didn't want the nipples.
Yeah. This just in. Tim Burton, not a fan of nipples.
Of nipples. Tim Burton shaved off his own nipples in protest.
There was also another trailer for Prey, the new Predator movie, which I have to say, low-key, one of my most anticipated movies of the rest of the year. It looks fucking awesome. It looks really, really good. It's that, like, 1500s, 1600s, like pre-colonial America with, like, Native Americans fighting against the Predator. And it's also directed by the guy who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a fucking great movie.
I still have not seen any of the Cloverfield movies.
I would say just watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's like kind of separate enough, and it's incredible. It's fucking so tense, and I would definitely put that on your watch list. But
I see.
Yeah, no, it just looks like super tense, but also like cool. Like it's like cool, like having to fight the Predator with like the tools and the nature, and kind of like she's like, I was taught to survive or whatever, the tagline was something like, one is hunts to survive, one survives to hunt, or something. I don't fucking know. It looks cool. Anyway, Joker 2 is happening. Todd Phillips has announced officially. It's going to be, or I guess like the working title or the title is Joker Folie à Deux, which of course I speak French, so that translates.
Folie à Dieu. That means Merry Christmas?
Well, it means folly of two, but it's also a delusion or mental illness shared by two people in close association. So people, I think we're speculating this could mean Harley Quinn is coming in, but it could also just be because like it's the second one, but that would be kind of dumb.
It'd be cool to see Harley Quinn in that universe. I still have not seen the Joker fully.
Oh my god, yeah, I keep forgetting about that. That is, I think you probably should get on that. That's pretty crazy. That's one of like the bigger movies of the past.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I haven't gotten around to it. The thing is, like, I know everything that happens in it because I've spoiled it for myself. So I don't know if I actually need to watch it.
But yeah, I don't think this needed the second one, but I guess go off.
Go for that money, Joaquin.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's the first one doesn't like not lend itself to a second one. It's not like it's a complete open and shut thing where like you couldn't. But it seems again more like they were like, oh, this one made a lot of money. Let's do another one rather than like, and I have the perfect idea for it. But you never know.
Yeah.
I guess we should save the Deux for later. There was a new trailer for Nope, but I didn't watch it because I don't want to have it any more spoiled for me. So I want to go in blind from here.
Fair.
Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version, is coming out in cinemas in September, I believe.
What does that mean?
It says, you wanted more, this is from their Twitter, you wanted more Spidey, you got it. Spider-Man the more fun stuff version swings into movie theaters in US and Canada September 2nd. So it doesn't, according to Empire, it doesn't specify what the new version will add, but rumors are already out that there are 15 extra minutes of footage comprised of deleted and extended scenes. Okay. I guess it's just kind of a re-release. It might be kind of like when they did that Endgame re-release where they put like this terrible unfinished CGI Hulk scene in it, and everyone was like, why?
Interesting. I mean, good movie, but
yeah. I mean, I guess
they're not milking. They're milking it a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, but if it's like in September and like I got nothing better to do, and it's like, hey, Spider-Man's in cinemas, like that could be just kind of a fun, afternoon out.
Be a fun little trip by myself.
I would not go by myself. I hate going to movies by myself. No, it's fine. It's good or whatever. But I've done it like 3 times, and I'm not, like, practically speaking, but it's also not as fun at all remotely. So, no offense to anyone who does it, but, like, I mean, it's just my favorite part of going to the movies is talking to the people who
talking to the person afterwards.
Like, yeah, so, yeah, again, like, when you, like, are a movie reviewer and you have to, or you just really want to see the Princess Diana movie because you're in a really good spot in your life at that point, then, yeah, I guess. And, like, it's not a bad thing at all. Like, you do you. I don't know.
God.
Anyway,
what an infamous moment in your career.
I was not in the best of places at that time. I'd like to stress, in case that wasn't clear, from the obvious cry for help that was the Princess Diana solo watch.
Goes to watch the Princess Diana biopic movie. God.
Yeah. Anyway.
All alone.
Okay. All right. We get it. All right. We get it. Anyway.
The thing is, you texted me on the day, so I was like, it's happening.
Anyway, good stuff, I guess. Whatever. You do you. No shame in it if you go. Anyway, we have a... okay. So this is when the... Okay, I'll just say it. There's Ezra Miller stuff. But I will say, before we get excited and like, haha, funny, this one's more serious and not...
A bit more serious?
Funny. I mean, obviously not that any of his crimes are like funny, but it was just sort of, you know.
I mean...
when like, you know, they were like, he was just like throwing chairs at people or whatever. It's just kind of like so absurd that he kept doing it. But now there's a... this is in Vanity Fair. So the Los Angeles Times reported on Friday that the parents of 18-year-old Dakota Iron Eyes were granted a protective order against actor Ezra Miller. Miller has yet to be served with papers which accuse him of physically and emotionally abusing the team. The Times report also uses the term grooming.
I see.
And I saw the word like kind of cult-like in another headline. And look, yeah, I have not read this article. I don't know about the situation, so I don't want to really get into it. The latest news about it is that the court is unable to locate Ezra Miller, so they can't serve him papers. But, I mean, yeah, I only included it because, like, we've talked so much about the Ezra Miller stuff that, it'd be kind of, like, weird not to sort of either update this or kind of wrap up the whole Ezra Miller thing. Because, again, the whole thing was a little bit walking the line of, like, you know, okay, it's a little funny, like, to joke about because it's like, what the fuck is he doing?
But I mean, obviously, there's something going on with him. But
yeah, well, there's clearly, and now this is like he's, like this is.
Damn, when you said there was Ezra Miller news, I was ready to laugh, and now I'm feeling bad.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Vanity Fair, real quick on this like article about, not that we're grandstanding about anything because we're fucking idiots, but on this article about like grooming and abuse and whatever, they did write "gone in a flash," and I'm like, guys, maybe it's not the time for like your great flash puns. God. Yeah, anyway, yeah, we don't know. This is all alleged, or maybe it isn't. I don't know. We're not saying anything definitively on this because I have not looked into the situation at all. I just thought we should put it out there. You can look into it if you want. Like now, you know, before it was sort of like he's just like a kind of maybe like drunk or, you know, a little bit crazy in like Hawaii or whatever. And now there's like real kind of serious allegations, and you know, you need to kind of be more nuanced with it when you're talking about it. So I think from now on, unless again something sort of this all gets like cleared up or something very clear, or if we look into it more, I think we'll maybe put aside the Ezra Miller meme. This is kind of a grim episode. We had to like apologize to Val Kilmer, and now we're setting aside.
You had to apologize to Val.
Yeah, no, I did. Anyway, now we got that out of the way, we can have two great pieces of news about our two favorite things: Dwayne Johnson and Morbius. Black Adam trailer. Did you see this?
I did see this.
Looks good.
Does it? Does it really?
I don't know. Not really. I mean,
it doesn't look great. Like it's Dwayne, so of course it's gonna be brilliant.
Well, that's also kind of what I'm thinking about it. It's like if I saw this as a Dwayne movie, because. No, we love you, Dwayne, but objectively, he's in largely garbage movies. Like, if we're just being honest, like, I mean, Skyscraper and Rampage and whatever. Like, he's like, okay, basically, if this wasn't like a known property, and I saw this was a new Dwayne movie where he's like this superhero, anti-villain, whatever, anti-hero, I would be like, okay,
I'd be so hyped.
Well, I'd be like, okay, this looks like kind of better. This looks like more interesting than Skyscraper or Rampage or whatever. But considering it's like sort of a mainstream like DC blockbuster for that. I don't know if it looks great, but it does look fun. I mean, it has like all these DC characters. It has Dr. Fate, played by James Bond, whatever he's called. Pierce, so I'd say Morgan, Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan?
There's Atom Smasher, I think is his
Pierce
name.
Imagine Pierce Morgan walks in.
Yeah, Dr. Fate and Atom Smasher and Hawker. Like, I'm liking the lineup of characters here, and I'm really enjoying, like, I don't know, it just... okay, I'm not about to go into this, like, Joe Rogan type rant where I'm like, these days you can't say anything in movies or whatever, but I will say, like, sort of, I feel like movies and, like, these kind of superhero mainstream movies are a lot more careful about sort of the morals and what the superheroes say, and you can't, you know, you have to set a good example and all this stuff, which, you know, is not a bad thing, but I just thought it was funny that, like, I can't remember what the exact line is, but someone's like, heroes don't kill people, and then Dwayne just goes, I do. And then just fucking murders a guy. I was like, damn. It just, like, I can imagine parents being, like, kind of shocked, I guess, or, like, because they're, you know, this, like, fun superhero movie. And then Dwayne's just like, no, I kill people. I'm beloved actor Dwayne Johnson, and I kill people. I don't know. Like, it's also funny because, like, Iron Man has killed, like, hundreds of people, but it's sort of, they don't really, like, address it directly. It's not like a main point that they really get into, or like Captain America, like, you think that guy's alive when he, like, Sparta kicked him off a fucking boat or whatever? He, like, definitely broke his spine and fell in the water, you know what I mean? But, like, Dwayne is just like, no, I kill people. I am a superhero in a mainstream movie and I fucking murder people. It just kind of caught me off guard, and I was like, all right, I mean,
goddamn, Dwayne.
I kind of respect the balls to just, like, put that in the trailer. And that is, like,
imagine he's just completely unhinged.
It's just like a very realistic serial killer story. You're like, oh god, no, Dwayne, what are you doing?
Dwayne, they're like, and cut. Dwayne does not stop.
And that is fitting for the character, because the character is not like a, you know, he is like a villain, and then he's kind of an anti-hero. He's not like a hero, you know?
He's a Venom character.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think it looks great, and I could definitely imagine it not being very good, but I think it looks fun. You know,
so,
I'm kind of in for it.
I mean, I'm excited for Blattum.
Blattum. There we go. Great. Really well done. We have my favorite piece of news, and this is very old, but whatever. We're still going to talk about it. We did mention that Morbius. Sorry, we have Morbius news because of course we do.
So we've got more biz news.
We did mention that it was coming back to cinemas because Sony was like, you know, haha, the meme. You know, maybe we can make some money off this, and I think we did speculate it probably won't make a lot more money because it's a meme, and, like, people, that doesn't really convert to actual ticket sales, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just like to read this tweet from Dan Murrell, which I found funny. Morbius added 954 theaters this weekend because of memes. It grossed $300,000 with a per-theater average of $289. Divided by the average ticket price, each theater playing Morbius saw about 30 people show up, or about 10 people per day, or about 5 per show. Studios don't listen to memes. So, Morbius completely bombed again.
God. And, so what was it? $300,000 it made. That is truly terrible.
I mean, that is not great. 5 people per show, approximately. So, yeah, that's
that's a bummer.
That's rough, but also I feel like they kind of deserve it because they clearly, like, I on one hand I respect leading into the meme and it's sort of funny, but on the other hand it's like, you made a terrible movie.
They do it unironically, I think.
But yeah, and it's also like, you don't really get the meme. Like, you just saw people, like, talking about it, and it just felt like a very studio movie, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my god, people are, like, tweeting about the movie. It'll make more money. Let's do it again. And it's like, no, that's not how it worked. It was a...
Yeah, I bet Tyrese saw this tweet and was like, oh my god, $300,000, that's so much money. Let's go, team.
He just texted the group chat, the Morbius group chat that I'm sure exists.
I'm sure. God.
Anyway, so sorry, Morbius, but also,
but not that sorry.
Kind of expected. Now we're gonna go to a recorded tomorrow segment where we talk about Jurassic World Dominion. Let's do it. Okay, and we're back as promised the next day for a little Jurassic segment. Spoilers, we're going full spoilers off the bat for Jurassic World Dominion. I did wake up 20 minutes ago, but I
woke up 5 minutes ago.
I am here, we are here, for a little Jurassic World Dominion review. And
damn,
I believe, from what I saw on your Instagram story where you wrote hashtag Stankosaurus as your review for it, I believe we may have a rare difference of opinion pod here.
I see.
I'm not saying it's good, just to be clear. I did not think it was a good movie. But given how bad the reviews were and what I was then expecting, I was like, you know what? That was more fun than I was expecting.
I see.
So, what is your...
I disagree.
What are your overall thoughts on Jurassic World, Alan's Back, baby?
Baby. I will say, the two saving graces of this movie are the Grant and the Goldblum, I'd say. I do enjoy a bit of Goldblum and Grant action. However, everything else, like, and obviously, like, the dinosaurs look cool and whatever, but honestly, everything else I just did not enjoy whatsoever.
Damn. Okay, well, you have very quickly, right out the gate, dismissed my main point, which is the dinosaurs look cool. But, okay, I can... See, here's the problem also now in, like, just because the nature of, like, our conversation, I'm going to end up just defending it vehemently, even though I didn't even like it that much. I'm gonna like it's gonna end up being like the best movie ever in my opinion by the end of this. But
this is I'm ready for an intense debate.
No, I just look okay. I recognize that it is full of really like generic exposition scenes and cheesy dialogue, and it's extremely predictable and hits a lot of beats that you're expecting. And it does focus at times on storylines that aren't very interesting, and I don't understand why some scenes and some plot lines were even in the movie, like the whole whatever the assistant guy who helps them escape, like he has like a little storyline where at the end he stands up to the CEO. Do movies not have like editors these days? Because every movie now is like 2.5 hours long, and you know, okay, Top Gun Maverick, it works because that movie is godly, but like
spectacular.
Everything, like even the Everything Everywhere All at Once thing, like that was a great movie, and it was still like too long. And like movies, and this one is just like some scenes. It's like, why didn't someone just say, you know what, we can cut this? It will not remove anything from the movie if we cut this.
Yeah.
So anyway, I really like this movie though, given all of that. No, I thought it had enough crazy fun dinosaur action stuff to be what I wanted to get out of it. Because what you want like 10 scenes of dinosaurs creeping around and then they jump out, or like a cool dinosaur chase or whatever. And I got that. I don't think it's masterfully done, and it's like miles removed from the quality of the first one with like an actually like interesting story and good themes and whatever, in a very Godzilla versus Kong way of like, I want to see monster whatever.
Dinosaurs,
I want to see big dinosaurs.
Big dinosaurs.
I saw big dinosaurs, and I was like, and the last thing I'll say here before I hand off this rant, but just to compare it to probably my least favorite movie this year. Actually, there was Morbius, but the Fantastic Beasts 3, whatever. To compare it to that. In this one, at least when the boring storylines kind of were taking over, it knew that the storylines weren't great, and it would cut to some cool dinosaur action pretty quickly. So this is not a...
Yeah, but if it already knew the storylines weren't great, why...
No, I know. You know? I know. But at the very least, just in comparison to something like Fantastic Beasts, where the whole thing was just like uninteresting story broken up by like virtually nothing, in this one, at least they seemed... I don't know why they were like, you know what, we should really pursue that like clone storyline from the first or from the second film, like that thing that no one cared about or liked. But I thought in the most basic like turn your brain off watching a movie kind of way, I was like, you know what, I got dinosaur action out of that. I'm okay with that. I thought that was kind of fun. So that's my overall.
I see. Okay. Well.
Fuck you, sir.
Well, screw you and your opinions. Let me put the boxing gloves on here and say, while I know this movie was all about dinosaurs coexisting and like the relationship between humans and dinosaurs and stuff like that, but honestly, in my opinion, it just takes so much away from the actual like interesting fact or part of Jurassic Park, because in the first three, like the first three or not, like I know the first one's a classic, even if you don't like the second two, you have to admit that the dinosaurs are like it's so apparently clear that they're dangerous, you cannot like coexist with them, and like, but in this movie there's so many goofy dinosaur moments that I'm just like, you'd be dead. Like, if the first three taught us anything, you'd be so dead by now. Like, how they, like, the whole raptor scene, like, how they can just outrun a raptor for, like, multiple minutes. It's like, no.
Yeah. No, I can... Go ahead, sorry.
And I have and this is more of a just straight up confusion I've got from the movie.
How is Chris Pratt so handsome?
She's so good looking. I want it. No, you know, when they were like with the Giganotosaurus or whatever it's called, right?
Yes, that did make me laugh. That name of the dinosaur.
Well, so that's fine, whatever. But so you know how they're standing and it just approaches when they're like next to the little like I don't know, intercom station or something, and they're like, "Don't move," right? As if it's a T-Rex. Okay, fine. Then they do move in plain sight of it, and it doesn't do anything. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Then they like hide behind the car, even though it sees them move behind the car. I'm like, okay, fine, it'll come around. It comes around, sees them again, like direct eye contact, and it looks at them move, and it still just doesn't do anything. I just sat there for like 5 minutes. I was like, why is it not, like, why are they not dead? Like, it could totally have killed them. Like,
yeah.
Like, comparing that scene to like the T-Rex scene from the first one, where like, it sprints after them and like will freaking anything that moves it kills, and this one's supposed to be even bigger than the T-Rex, you know? I was sitting there like, why are they like, obviously I don't want the Goldblum to die, but realistically
he should be chomped.
Man should be chomped.
Yeah, I do think because these movies have gone like too far now, where each time they're kind of trying to now like build it up to be something bigger and like scarier and like different also. Like you can't really go back at this point, and so they've kind of trapped themselves in this way where, yeah, like the raptors in the first movie were this like really terrifying presence. And the thing is, yeah, the first movie works so much because of its simplicity, you know? And in these now, like, there are so many different things to keep track of, and then because they have all these like super deadly dinosaurs, but they also can't have like every main character die, it kind of lowers the stakes, because the dinosaurs aren't that deadly. If you think about it, the dinosaurs... Who gets killed by a dinosaur in this movie besides the main villain at the end, which is like, you know, super
main villain, and then just like random pedestrians. Like that's literally
something that I did find quite funny is that they set it up, the woman or whatever who's there for like 5 minutes and who also just disappears all of a sudden. Like, what, I thought she was gonna come back, whatever, but she sets it up. She's like, if I point this laser, the dinosaurs will not stop until the person is dead. And I'm pretty sure not a single person who got pointed at with a laser dies. Chris Pratt gets pointed at, yeah. Bryce Dallas Howard, Chris Pratt's friend from the first movie, and they all survive. Like, they set it up like, I was like, okay, that's actually kind of scary. Like, it's like, it'll just keep hunting you no matter what. Literally all of them survive, you know what I mean? It's like, why would you set that up if you can't, like, have some stake to it?
Well, like, the thing is, like, obviously, with these new movies, like, basically the premise of, and this, at least to me, this is what it feels like, the premise of the first 3 movies were man against dinosaur. It doesn't work. The whole plot was like the interaction between the dinosaurs. Whereas in this one, it's basically like they're trying to make a completely separate movie in a world that is full of dinosaurs. You know, where like the dinosaurs aren't even the main plot point in my opinion. Whereas like the whole cloning thing and trying to get Blue's baby back, which again I also find slightly ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
like it just feels, it doesn't have the same vibe of scary dinosaur to it.
No, it's way far removed from like the first movie's like, it's a fun kind of summer blockbuster. It's also like a thriller in a way. Like, there's a lot of tense scenes, and that has definitely been lost in favor of like just sort of action. And I do definitely agree that I think it focuses too much now on something that did make especially the first film so like interesting, was that basically the humans, even though the dinosaurs are in this park, but when stuff starts going wrong, the humans are basically just like they're not in the dinosaurs' world, and the dinosaurs aren't really in their world. It's just like trying to survive this like, I'm kind of muddling my point here, but like at the end basically, when there's that big final confrontation between, and they do the exact same thing from Jurassic World, where there's like the T-Rex fights the big new scary dinosaur, and then it also gets help from another dinosaur, which, you know, is sort of ridiculous and would kind of be more fun if then the T-Rex just fucking ate that other dinosaur with the long nails. But it like, the movie focuses
honestly, the dinosaur with long nails was cool, but then like the fact that the two like freaking giants team up against another giant, it was like, it felt very Hollywood, you know?
Yeah. And like, but that action scene, like, I feel like it should have just focused on the humans trying to get out of that, because it's not about the dinosaurs, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they've made the T-Rex this like iconic character now. The T-Rex, the whole kind of fun of the first movie, I feel, was the T-Rex happened to like save them at the end, I guess. Like it stops the raptors, but it wasn't because like, oh, the T-Rex, the hero of the movie. It was because like, isn't it funny how like nature at one point the T-Rex was like the scariest thing, now it saves them. Like nature is just completely unpredictable and not affected by us. And now the same in Jurassic World. It's like look, the T-Rex got knocked down and now it wakes up and it's back and it stops the big dinosaur. And it's like this, you're making
it's
like
out for the count. Oh, it's up again. It's
like it should be more about like the people just trying to survive this craziness that's happening. But again, big dinosaurs. I don't know. The first
but
movie
then again, I do love the big dinos.
In Jurassic World, I did like it when the T-Rex and the Raptor teamed up because it was just so fucking stupid that I was like, this is great. But in this one, I was just like, like, also you already did this, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And
I will say,
I mean, go on.
I was just gonna say also on the dinosaurs not being that scary or effective. The whole new thing about I guess they're not dinosaurs, but the fucking locusts or bugs or whatever, they were. At first, I was like, that's pretty scary. I guess it's not really like a Jurassic Park kind of thing, but like it's sort of scary, all that fucking swarm. But then they kind of just minorly inconvenience everyone who comes across them. Like there are like multiple scenes where the main characters are being attacked by these locusts, and they're just, it obviously isn't great, but they're fine. Like they're not that. You think like, oh my god, the swarm's gonna get them, and it's more just like, you just kind of gotta like swat them away and like get out of there. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like the main villain, even though I did like that he died because it's the classic Jurassic World thing, the asshole villain dies in the end by a dinosaur. I feel like they just did that as a reference to the guy in the first one getting killed by those dinosaurs. I feel like the main villain should have been consumed by the locusts. You know what I mean? That
was his whole thing. I mean, it was a fun throwback because the main villain of this one, I believe, that's Dodgson, right? Where he's like, we got Dodgson here. See, nobody cares. That's him, I think. So what? It's like, yeah, I think that's him. I think so. They've got the same last name, and I thought that was quite fun. But like at the same time,
oh shit, it is.
And like, why that's fun. Then like legit the very first second I saw him, because like he's like they got like the little TV thing like here at Bison or Dyson Energy or whatever. It's like he's the bad guy. Like from the very first second, like he seems like a good guy. He's gonna become the bad guy.
Well, yeah, he's not really. I don't think they really try to hide that he's the bad guy. He is.
No, I know, but still, it's like.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess that's kind of a fun detail. I did not catch that at all. I did think he was an okay villain. I think they kind of tried to make him like an Elon Musk sort of Bill Gates kind of like billionaire
Steve Jobs boy.
Weird kind of the same thing they did in Leonardo DiCaprio's trying to stop a meteor, whatever that was called, where they had kind of like a Elon Musk kind of villain. I don't know if that's like a new trend, but
I see what you mean.
Yes. Yeah. All right, moving on to clearly the highlight of the film, Woo. Did you love
let the dinos out?
Woo let the dinos out. Did you not absolutely fucking love Woo's look in this movie? Sweater and long hair.
Woo, I've never seen a man
killing it.
Probably a millionaire look so homeless.
I do feel like he got off scot-free for all the shit he's done.
Yeah, he's literally caused all the problems.
He should have been consumed by at the end when he opens that thing of locusts, they just all fucking swarm him and he's just a skeleton and then the movie ends. That would have been great.
I mean, he's had a complete character change, hasn't he? Because in the last few movies, he's been like, bigger, better, scarier. Yeah. And now he's like, I made a terrible mistake.
There was actually, I think we joked about, in this movie, just Alan Grant should, like, shoot him in the head just because, like, for all his crimes at the end. That should be his, like, justice instead of getting eaten by a dinosaur. And I mean, there was a scene where they had him, like, at gunpoint. And I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do it.
It'd be so funny if Alan just freaking, for his own personal grudge, freaking dooms the world by killing Woo.
Yeah, it's like he's like, I got the formula, like we can save the world. And they're like, oh my god, Woo, you're here. And Alan just comes up behind with a shotgun. And he's like, not today, motherfucker. You made a promise to a dinosaur? Still my favorite line. I don't know why. Also,
you made a promise. Also, I hate that Goldblum says that and then just goes along with the plan. I'm like, why?
I mean, Goldblum I thought, okay, of all the old people come back, I'm sorry, that was rude. Of all the returning cast from
of all the fossilized people back.
Of all the They're Now the Dinosaurs kind of style of movie. No, of all the, like, where the people from the 70s or 80s come back, I feel like this one was one of the better ones. It's not because it's particularly well written. It's just because Laura Dern, Alan Grant, what's his name, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum, just kind of like are quite charismatic. Like the way they sometimes bring it up. I'm not gonna bring up Ghostbusters, but the way they sometimes do this, like it just feels sort of sad and like
the way they sometimes bring dead people back and CGI them.
The way they sometimes have Bill Murray in a Ghostbusters costume at the end. Like, it just sometimes it feels, like, sad and, like, sort of a... Even with Indiana Jones, it's like, I don't want to see, like, my childhood hero...
A huge shitting of Murray.
No, like, you don't want to see your
Whenever
childhood hero...
Whenever I see Bill Murray in a Ghostbusters costume, I get severely depressed.
But I felt like this one... They were fun. They had like their own story. They were easily the most interesting part of the film because those characters actually have character. Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt don't have characters anymore, really. Like they're not. There's nothing interesting about them besides like they're charismatic actors, or whatever. Like, yeah. So I did think it was actually a move that benefited the movie this time instead of just like whatever. Even though they did just throw it in clearly for like nostalgia, but I thought it worked pretty well. Goldblum does talk about a dog humping his leg. And he like
what did he say? He got something on his shin bone, like callus on his shin bone.
They brought
that made me laugh a lot.
Like more, these movies have gotten so removed now. And it's about like clone girls and the hugest dinosaur you've ever seen. And I felt like bringing those characters back actually helped bring it down to earth a bit. Where Goldblum the whole time is just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like you idiots! Like you made a promise to a dinosaur. Like like he brings that. They all kind of bring it back down a little bit. Not enough to kind of save the movie from that problem, but I thought it was a good choice.
I do agree. I think it's also very apparent that like as you say, the world has just changed so much because like the three of them still view dinosaurs with the same like respect, but also like wary of the first one, which is like, what's or like when I say the first one, like like the original Jurassic Parks, whereas the others are just like, oh yeah, it's a dinosaur. I made a promise to it. And it's just like, it's a fun comparison, but it's also slightly like, it also just kind of does highlight a little bit how much the like mood and vibe has changed.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I have here just a bunch of, we could call them nitpicks. We call them just little notes that I noted down that I thought were kind of amusing and or just wanted to ask you about. For this movie. We do love to nitpick on the Folie plan. It's what we do best. I thought it was amusing when Chris Pratt sent Bryce Dallas Howard to an absolute certain death by ejecting her from the plane. It's like, you just got attacked by a fucking flying dinosaur. You know what we should do? Eject you from the plane. It was like, what did you think was going to happen? She clearly, I mean, it's a movie, so she wouldn't. But she 100% would have died. Like, 1,000,000%. Like, I was like, also, yeah, they had... I didn't understand. Then Chris Pratt and Bryce, and the pilot, they like land, and then they just go back and get Bryce Dallas Howard. And it's like, I must have missed something, but I was like, why did you have to eject her? Because like,
you
just landed and then went
back. The crash wasn't safe, but like at the same time,
it was probably much safer than ejecting her into a fucking sky of pterodactyls. You know what I mean?
And then landing her in the dinosaur world,
in the dinosaur jungle. Yeah, I did also think I was not a fan of the pilot character.
Both me and my girlfriend sat there just every time she tried to say, because she kept being like trying to say something cool, and every time she talked I just rolled my eyes, and so did she. Was like,
well, that was the problem. Like, it's not the performance, it's the writing of like literally, okay, not literally, but like literally like 90% of her dialogue was like trying to like a cool one-liner or a cool quip, and it was like, you can't just write a character that all of their dialogue is like a quip. Like,
yeah, it's also like one of the lines she said pissed me off so much because she'd just flown Beta from whenever they captured her to the island, right? And then like, what is it? Like an hour later, she flies away with Chris Pratt and stuff. And as they do that, as she like lifts off, she's like, I still got it. It's like, you flew an hour ago. How would you not still have it?
You just got here also. Yeah, you've been doing this. You just got here. No, her character also made no sense of like they tried to build it up like, oh, she saw the girl, so now she has like, she's empathetic, but like she like glanced at her for 2 seconds. And yeah, at the end they go, the little girl and her like, I remember you. And she's like, I remember you too. It's like, no, you don't. You were being kidnapped.
Like, you were probably traumatized. You were being kidnapped and you saw a random person like in the distance. How the hell would you remember them?
Yeah, that whole story felt so like, and then yeah, she's just like, And then Bryce Dallas Howard walks up to her in this market. She's like, "Oh, you're American. Help me." And it's like, first of all, you were just told not to talk to anyone in this illegal black market. Do you think just because she's American, she's good? Oh, she actually is. What a coincidence. And then she's just
coincidence.
I saw this
Good old
girl
American
for 2
patriotism.
seconds. Like, you know what? I will help you fly to this secure base. People who I met 2 seconds ago. Yeah, fuck it. It was like that was really sharp.
No,
sharp
and like as you said, like the dialogue, like I'm not joking. When we walked out the cinema, my girlfriend like did a 180 turn to me, and the very first thing she said was just, the dialogue was wet poop, and then we kept walking. I was like, that's very fair.
Yeah, there were a lot of very just small moments that were very dumb, like. Why would you leave the key to Beta's cage in the room with the little girl when you leave, so she can just very easily escape? I would have enjoyed it at the end if Blue just ate Chris Pratt. They would have just undermined all 3 movies. It would have just been like,
honestly, it would have been so. That would have been such a fun twist.
All of his hand movements and shit, it was just total coincidence. The dinosaur was doing something else the entire time, and he thought he was controlling them. And then the end, he just turns around, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute," and just fucking mauls him. I would have enjoyed that very much.
Absolutely destroys him. I also found it really stupid and annoying when the little girl put out her hand. It was like, "Calm, girl." It's like,
also, yeah, I mean, wasn't that his whole thing? It was like he.
That was
can
his
do
whole
that.
thing because
it's
he bred them from birth.
It's not like dinosaurs inherently are just you stick your hand out, and it was all Chris Pratt did that.
But also, Chris Pratt did that to every single dinosaur he met. He tried to do it to the freaking Giganotosaurus or whatever it's called. I was like, Pratt, no.
I really did enjoy the black market, which then led into the whole chase sequence. I thought that whole thing was very exciting. I did, however, find it very funny when there's one moment that made me laugh quite hard, where, do you remember Bryce Dallas Howard is being chased by the dinosaur and she's hanging from the balcony and then she falls into the pilot's car and then drives off or whatever? Do you remember that part?
Yes, I do remember that part.
The dinosaur is chasing her, and then as she's driving away, you see the dinosaur burst out of the front door of the house, coming down from the second story, which means the dinosaur would have had to go through some doors and go down the stairs to get out of the door. And I was like, why would it not just jump out the fucking balcony or the hole in the wall it created? It ran down the stairs to get out the front door.
It ran down the stairs, obviously knowing exactly where to go.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? It was just a Looney Tunes moment. I also did enjoy the extremely back and forth treatment of dinosaurs in this movie, which kind of the whole series has had. But like we said in the first one, it was sort of more explained because the dinosaurs are these, not interfering with human whatever. But in this one, on one hand, they're these creatures need to be protected and they're good and oh my god, he's burning them, how what a monster. And then in another second, they're tasing this dinosaur's eyeball and stabbing it in the mouth, and it's okay, yeah. It seems you only really care based on the convenience to your life, you know what I mean? Just because the Giganotosaurus is big and scary doesn't mean it's less deserving of a happy life. Yeah. Than the others,
in fairness, that was Goldblum, who doesn't think any of these should be alive. That was Goldblum throwing a fire spear into its mouth.
Yeah, I did think Goldblum was gonna die there. In fairness, I
did think so as well. It's oh shit, Goldblum, no.
They're so, this movie, unlike the first one, it's so scared to have the audience be sad or worried or scared for a second. You think oh my god, Goldblum might die, and then immediately it's oh no, he isn't. And you think when they see the blood in the forest and they think oh my god, Bryce Dallas Howard might have died, they don't sit on that for a little bit and see Chris Pratt's emotion from it, or it affects the story. It's they immediately see, oh, they know it was a deer, she's fine. It's it's so scared to have an intense moment. Speaking of intense moments, Nick Miller makes a photo cameo in the film.
I did slightly fist bump. I was yes, when I saw the slight stachioed Nick Miller.
They don't do as much real world dino stuff that I would have liked, but whatever. And also, Goldblum slides in some DMs, which was a fact that I feel is realistic that Goldblum would do that, but also I didn't want to know.
But also, I did not. Yeah,
I don't want to think.
He slid into my DMs, and the most confused Grant. He's what?
I don't want to think about Goldblum at 3 a.m. sliding in DMs. This doesn't make me happy.
In terms of confusion, I don't know if it was just me. I know it was meant to be confusing because the characters themselves said what, but some of the dialogue at the the main base, I was so whenever
with the villain,
and Ramsey, and then Grant and Sattler, I was what the hell is going on? It was such a fever dream moment. It was so Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor.
I know what you mean. I think they were trying to set it up as he's really weird and like doesn't really like, he has like his weird mannerisms, but it did also come across as like, did they edit this wrong? Like, why is there like this weird pause here, and why is there like he doesn't finish his sentences? And it did feel weird in the moment.
It did feel like but the thing is, like, he wasn't like that for the rest of the movie. Like, it was just that one scene, because the rest of the scene, he was kind of like generic bad guy, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I also, on Ramsey, and the pilot as well, like, I just felt, I don't know, I know it's a dumb blockbuster, but you can have nuance in characters where it just felt like they were so scared to have any moral, like, gray area in the characters. Like, the pilot, she transports, like, illegal cargo and whatever, but then she's just, like, she's great. Like, she's just, like, the best person. She's, like, selfless and wants to help everyone. And Ramsey as well, it's like, he works for this evil corporation, but also he's the best. Like, he helped Jeff Goldblum, he's stopping the thing, he's, like, the best guy. You can have a character that, like, does some bad stuff and does some good stuff, and it's like there's a little bit of a moral grayness to them, you know? You don't have to just have like, okay, you're doing something bad and now you're like cartoonishly perfect, you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, I guess we should wrap it up.
Yeah, but one last thing. What did you think of the whole mother situation, like with the clone's mom? I forget her name.
Oh, I forgot about that. I don't know why they chose to focus more on that story. I can't imagine, like, considering it's like a big studio movie where I'm sure they like test how audiences felt about everything. I can't imagine audiences tested well for that clone story. And it was just like, they treat it like, as if it's a thing that you care about, you know, where it's like, actually, you did have a mom. And it's like a big twist. And I'm like, but no one, I'm sorry, but no one cares. You could say like, actually, you're not a clone and you had two parents and it's us. It's me, Chris Pratt, and Bryce Dallas Howard. And be like, okay. Like, I would be like, great. That, whatever.
Yeah. But like, they might have explained this in the movie, in fairness, but I was just so like, I was just sitting there being frustrated at how bad the movie was in general, so I might have missed this. But you know how the mom like basically has this disease that the daughter then will also have, so then she like fixes her DNA by like putting something in her, right?
Yeah.
Why did she not do that to herself? So she was pregnant with the baby, so she's like, yeah, she's got the same disease that I've got, so I found a way to cure it and like change all the cells in her body. I feel like she could just have given her self the dosage as well. I don't know. That was just like a small thing I was thinking about, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, no. So I mean, look, yeah. Overall, not a good movie. But I have to say, I did have I mean, I also like I saw it in Supreme. It was sort of like a fun, you know, big popcorn, whatever. You just kind of sit and enjoy the evening or whatever. So in that sense, like I enjoyed it in that it had a lot of dino stuff. If you're going for dinosaur stuff, you get what you want. There's a lot of it in this, but it is definitely, like, if you think about it for a little bit, the story isn't great, the dialogue isn't great, the characters aren't great. It's a far departure from the, like, intelligent fun, which is the douchiest thing I've ever said, but, like, the intelligent fun of the first one, it's more just, like, Fast and Furious type fun, where it's just, you know, spectacle. Yeah. But I did like the returning older characters, actually. I didn't think I would, but I thought that was actually pretty good. And I liked it overall, even though I don't think it was very good. I'd give it probably a 5.9 to 6.2 out of 10.
I see. For me, this is definitely, not definitely like that. It's not much better or much worse than this, like the last movie, but it's definitely like in the worst ones of the Jurassic Park / worlds, like whole world for me. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay, fair enough.
10.
I would say it was significantly better than the last one, but not as good as Jurassic World. So now we're gonna go back to the main regular pod and look at this episode. I think it might be like an hour and fucking 30-40 minutes. So craziness. Anyway, back to the pod. Anyway, it is now time for
the Cnews.
Okay, well, Top Gun Maverick is doing really well, but that's not really Tom Cnews. It's just kind of news. We do have this article from Entertainment Weekly that just the headline is, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Simon Pegg admires Tom Cruise's ability to, quote, maintain authority by never, unquote, by never apologizing for his mistakes. And Pegg says he maintains his authority by never being to blame for anything.
I see.
I mean, I'm sure this is meant as a compliment, but it also does seem kind of like a backhanded, like kind of low-key insult. Yeah. It's like he never takes responsibility.
Tom Cruise messed up so many times, and I got blamed every single one of those times.
Yeah, I mean, okay, in true poorly planned podcast style, we are Not going to read the article, so you can read that if you want and find out the context. But I'm going to assume Tom Cruise stabbed Peg in the hand and just never apologized for it.
Yeah, I'm going to assume he broke both his knees.
And that's how he maintains authority, which also sounds very like, I don't want to say like
dominatrix.
I didn't want to say it, but like kind of low-key sounds like Tom always maintains his authority by never apologizing. I always apologize.
Don't you ever fucking apologize.
All right, now we're going to move to the announcements and such, and we're going to look at some comments from the last pod. So let's see. Cal W says, Pinocchio what a nose. Good point. ZJ says, me and BHL Hudson had the same reaction to Top Gun Maverick. I went in expecting just a fun action flick, but came out with it being being my favorite film of the year. Yeah, we all kind of just loved the Top Gun.
Top Gun was just brilliant.
Josie says, I think BHL should have been Pinocchio in the movie. It was a missed opportunity not to cast him. Thanks, Joe. Really loving that.
Thanks, Joe.
Pandaman 10 says, great ep as always. Excited for Thor 4, especially Bale as Gore. Originally, I didn't like the fact that he didn't have a nose, but it has since grown on me. Enjoying Obi-Wan. Andor looks pretty good. New Garfield movie should be very memeable. I did not realize Gore did not have a nose.
Does he not?
Is he kind of Eddie No-Nose style?
Is he rocking that Valde Eddie No-Nose style?
Oh no, so Gore doesn't have a nose in the comics, but Bale does have a nose. Big casting mistake there, I would say. Anson says, it's been kind of surreal having Morbius be an inside joke amongst this tiny community, and then suddenly it's the biggest meme in months. But also very rewarding in a way. Finally, the world shares in our insanity. Very true, good point. Although I do feel slightly offended that you called it a tiny community. It's true, but why did you have to point that out? But yes, no, it was kind of fun. He also recommends Stranger Things, and he said the fourth episode specifically made me cry harder than anything else in a long time of season 4. So
fourth episode was insane. I will say that.
Yeah,
like I want to just point out that when I say I don't like the new season, I don't like a lot of the like diverting plot things. Like, but the main plot point is main plot line is very, very good. Just so I don't get any hate, because I know a lot of people are going crazy for it.
Yeah, not fair. Baxter says, take a shot every time Ben or Fred says mid. And Josie says, I don't want to die, though. Fair point. I would not recommend that. Movie Guy says, Morbius, what a morb. It's a very fair point. And
very wise.
Michael Scarn says, how could anyone talk to the man behind the epicness of the Jeremy Renner app, a god amongst mortals, which I believe is in reference to some part where we referenced Renner. And yeah, I wonder what happened. Well, we talked about what happened to the Renner app. I wonder if he's ever going to come out with like another insane thing like that.
I would love if he did.
What a fucking... I mean, we've talked about it, but what an...
What a weird thing.
Right? To make your own Instagram. Anyway. The balls that takes. Anyway.
What an absolute Sigma move.
That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Leave your thoughts on what we talked about and the episode down below. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a 5-star rating, a nice review. Hit the follow button. Tell your friends about the podcast. You can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. You can find my TikTok at BHL Hudson, my Letterboxd at Real BHL Hudson. You can find the fan-made TikTok and the fan pages linked down below. And you can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com.
God, how do you manage so many platforms? Very impressive. You can find me on Twitter at FTK_DaltSniper. You can find me on Instagram at Vidalgard. You can find me on Letterboxd at FTK_Thwilms. And you can find me on YouTube at FTK Space Gaming.
Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Frenchie.